Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it's finally time for another one of my Legends Behind the Cards, where we basically take a series of cards, a singular set of cards, or even an archetype full of cards, and we try to discuss what their origin could be, whether it be history, mythology, or even pop culture references, and we try to make it make sense while also kind of figuring out if that's the reason they look the way they look. So, this time round, I don't know what possessed me to do this. I was looking at Morphtronics for some reason. I was thinking about deck profiles and something that would be fun to do, and Morphtronics came up. So let's talk about Morphtronics for a little bit. So, for the most part, they are all machines. There are three, I believe, examples that break this. Those are Datatron being a Pyro, and the Morphtronic Magnon Bar, and Radion, all being Thunder types. So I guess I was wrong. That's four. I should make better notes. Otherwise, again, they're basically all Earth machines. Additionally, in Japan, they were known as deformers, which kind of reminds me of what they look like. So, just real quick, let's get that out of the way. I want to say these guys are the household variant of our favorite thing, Transformers. So anybody who's been a fan of any type of mecha or cartoons in America since forever, at least the 80s, we've probably seen one version of Transformers or the other, and we've watched it just about every Saturday morning with a big unhealthy bowl of sugar bomb cereal. And we've watched them, and they've transformed from just about everything. They were cars, jet planes, helicopters, bulldozers. For a while there, I watched Beast Wars. They were animals, and they were actually half animal for real instead of just being fully mechanical and looking like it. And then they had their mini-cons, which would be smaller Transformers, but at the same time still sort of look like household things. Sometimes it was a bike, sometimes it's a small car, a little go-kart maybe. Just sort of little things, and then they would hook up to the bigger ones. We're not going to get that. They're not exactly going to perform like Union Monsters do, which would be a perfect example of Transformers, if we're being honest. But these guys are going to take it on the small household end. So a lot of them are going to look exactly the way they should based on their name. And if we look at the names, we can actually skate through a lot of this real quick. So you got Morphtronic Borden. You look at the art, he's a skateboard. It's right there in the picture. Boomboxin is a boombox. Camaran is a camera. Cell phone is a cell phone. Clockin is an alarm clock. Here's the one that gets weird. Datatron. If you look at the American Datatron, we put 2 GB for 2 gigabytes on the side of them, and we tried our best not to make him look like a butane lighter. Guys, he is definitely a butane lighter. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw up the original art real quick. And again, you'd think that if you did want this to not be perceived outside of Japan as a lighter, you would just change the typing altogether and just not design it that way. But, reasons, guys. So, he turns into a USB drive, and that's his Datatron name. Then you have Lantron. This is a type of flashlight. Both Magnon and Magnon Bar are both magnets. Radion is a radio. Remoten. Now, online they say he looks like a remote control. He's definitely an MP3 player, and he looks like the early MP3 players where you had the full circle and all the little things. It looks like an iPod Shuffle from way back when, if we're being 100% honest. And that's fine. You got scoping and it being a microscope, slinging is a slingshot, smartphone is a smartphone, stapling is a stapler, vacuuming is a vacuum cleaner, and videon is a camcorder video camera. Honestly, there's not a whole lot about this archetype where you need to decide, what is this character going to be? Datatron was the one exception. Datatron is the only one that got cleaned up for the international audience. I believe his name was even changed. I believe his name was supposed to be the sound effect of a lighter. I don't have that note in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that I read that. But, whatever. It is what it is. They had a couple cool play styles. Normally, I don't talk about the play styles during these videos, but otherwise this one would be extremely short. One of the big play styles was obviously they wanted to play towards like Power Tool Dragon as being sort of like the boss. Again, in 5Ds, this deck was used by, and I want to say his name was Leo, and he eventually becomes a signer. I forget exactly the circumstances. I'm sure one of you guys is going to nicely remind me, and I'm going to thank you right now for doing that. But there were different tuners that you play in the deck, and I think Selfon allowed you to do this. I'm not actually looking at anything but my notes right now, so again, this might be a little sketch, I'm not sure. But you were able to consistently play Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon at one point, just by using, I want to say it was Scoping and Smartphone. At least that's what my notes are saying right now. Machine Dupe was a good play in this deck. During the Link Monster era, like Mrs. Radiant was a great card to be able to play. Just again, because the majority of their archetype is all Earth machines. And again, like you could play some of the generic ones, whatever you wanted. Some of the synchro monsters that you could play with this would be all like the Stardust huge cards, like I think it was called Cipher, Divine Dragon, Quasar, Shooting Quasar, sorry, Cosmic Blazer. And then, of course, I believe you could go the same route and just go Red Dragon Archfiend on the whole thing and play all through like the King Calamity or the Archfiend Bane, stuff like that. I do remember that they had sort of like a Gravity Bind trap. A lot of the things that this deck relied on was special summoning. So again, if you could find ways of cutting out their effects and their special summons, again, you could pretty much just win. So again, these guys were never going to be like huge mainstream cards. But I think that they were fun enough. And again, they're pretty cheap. I might just go ahead and buy myself a playset of all of them and mess around and see if I can't get you guys 1 or 2 decks out of that. I think that would be a fun thing to do. And recently, since their release, there's actually something else that we can argue that they could have been based on if they'd come out first. So I'm going to throw up some pictures. Back in, I think it was, let me check the note, 2018, late 2018, Hasbro created a line of toys called the Bots, and it was very similar to what Shopkins were for kids. So you were buying these blind bags for like $3, whatever, and then you just open it and maybe get a little transformer or two. And these things are kind of adorable, but they're based on everything from like little sporting good gear, little household items, even some food. So there's like a little hamburger, a little French fry order, like a little milkshake drink, or maybe it's a soda. They got one that's a plunger. They got one that looks sort of like a toilet paper roll. I'm going to throw some of those pictures up. Obviously, you guys are seeing those right now. I'm really saying it to remind myself during editing to do that. But again, like if this had come out before, I think we could have argued that this would have been a much better tie-in. But these are basically household Transformers cards. And there's really not much else you can say about them. They're cute, they're cool, and they can be a real pain in the neck if somebody knows what they're doing with them and they're properly supported. And again, give me some time. I'll see about getting the cards myself. And then we'll do a deck profile for you guys. Maybe 2. I don't know. So real quick, I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by and listening to this. And of course, if you did enjoy it and you haven't already and you'd like to show some support for the channel, do consider subscribing. It helps us out a lot here. I do hope that you enjoyed it. And just one big favor. And that favor is I'd like you guys to try and have a great day today, all right? Do something for some self-care. You know, go get yourself a coffee. Go get yourself a hot or iced drink, whatever you like. Sit there, relax, watch a TV show, watch some more YouTube. Hey, I got plenty of videos. You know, you can watch some of those. And just have a great day. I'll see all of you guys on the next video. Later.